So I was doing a flight to Amsterdam, and I was the B purser in the back. We had already boarded, we were buttoned up, and we were ready to go. We were taxiing to the runway. We start ripping down the runway. We take off, and about a minute or two into the takeoff, you heard a pop. You felt like the plane was lumbering to stay in the air, and the sounds were different. And flight attendants know every little hum, beep, ding on a plane. We know all the sounds and what phase of flight that's normal. I'm thinking the engine probably just blew from the way it feels and the way it sounded. So this guy who's sitting on the aisle seat who looked out the window, and then he looked down the aisle backwards at me like, so he pretty much just confirmed what I thought. So I looked at him and I said, I know, just wait. The call light goes off. So I get up and I go answer the call light. And I said, yes, sir, how can I help you? As if I don't know what's going on, right? I know what's going on. I thought he was going to say, did you hear that noise? Da, da, da. He just says, is that supposed to be going on out there outside his window? And I look outside of his window and I could see a stream, which was more than likely jet fuel. We are experiencing some technical difficulties right now. The pilots are taking care of it. I'm sure as soon as they get a handle on things, they will get on the PA and tell us exactly what the next steps will be. The B purser sits in the back. So I go to the middle of the aircraft where the other flight attendants are sitting who may not have heard the engine blow, but they probably feel something's not right. So I tell them, I said, hey, we lost the left engine. They're dumping fuel on the right side. We're about to go back. We're about to prepare for a landing. So they said, oh my gosh. I said, yeah, so start preparing in your minds what we're going to do. The captain will make a PA as soon as he gets a handle on things. So I go sit back down in my seat. As soon as I sit down and I strap myself in, the captain comes on. The PA says, ladies and gentlemen, we just lost our left engine, and we're going to have to turn around and go back. We're full of fuel, and that fuel was to take us on this 7-hour flight to Amsterdam. And by the time you land in Amsterdam, it's almost all burnt off, so the plane is lighter. But we just took off. The plane's heavy, and we can't land that heavy, or, bad things could happen. So they're dumping this fuel. We're going back into Newark. And they don't anticipate anything harsh, but we could potentially have something happen. So we have the emergency vehicles follow us as protocol, just in case. They don't expect it, but they have to be prepared in case it happens. So we come in for a landing. The emergency vehicles are side by side running along us on the runway. The only thing that did happen was we don't, with one engine, I guess they cannot use the reverse thrust on one side. So they had to use just brakes. And with that, the landing gear, the tires got hot and they all started to blow. So you could smell the burning rubber and all the tires were blown. Not all of them, but we blew a few tires. And once we got on the ground, we were pretty much stuck on the runway because now we don't have any tires and we don't have an engine, and we're going to have somebody tow us in. So we get to, once we get to a point where we're going to get out, so we have to have buses come to the plane and put passengers into the buses and take them back to the terminal because the plane is inoperable. And the first thing anybody asks is, am I going to make my connection? Like, people weren't worried that they just had this experience of an engine blowing in midair. In midair, people were not concerned. Like, this was, I don't know if it's Hollywood or TV or what puts these things in people's heads that makes something as traumatic as this that happened nothing. So when are they going to get a new plane, or are we going to, because I still have another flight to catch, when not one person was like, thank God that I made it. Nobody was thinking, what a harrowing experience. Okay, well, good for them. I guess to each his own. I, for one, was like very grateful that we were back on the ground safely. Because we have a saying in the airline industry, it's always better to be on the ground and wishing you were in the sky than wishing you were on the ground while you're in the sky on a bad plane. Or the other way around. It's better to be on the ground wishing you were in the sky than the other way around.